Most people don't stay weak because they lack ability. They stay weak because they never understand the psychology behind their own behavior. Weakness is not just physical. It is not about intelligence either. It is a pattern of thinking, a way of reacting, a habit of choosing comfort over growth. And the most dangerous part? Most people never even realize they are trapped in it. A weak mind avoids discomfort at all costs. It runs from hard conversations. It delays difficult decisions. It looks for the easiest path, even when that path leads nowhere. Because discomfort feels like danger, and the brain is wired to avoid danger. So instead of facing challenges, weak minds create excuses. I'll start tomorrow. I'm not ready yet. This isn't the right time. But tomorrow never comes. And over time, those small excuses turn into a lifestyle. This is where the cycle begins. Weak minds seek validation instead of progress. They want approval more than improvement. They care more about how things look than how things actually are. So they post, they talk, they plan, but they rarely execute. Because execution requires risk, and risk threatens the ego. The ego is another reason weak minds never change. It protects identity, even if that identity is limiting. If someone believes they are not disciplined, they will act in ways that confirm it. If they believe they are unlucky, they will ignore opportunities. Because changing would mean admitting they were wrong. And for a weak mind, that feels like losing. So they stay the same, not because they can't change, but because their identity won't allow it. Weak minds are also controlled by impulse. They react instantly, to emotion, to pressure, to distraction. A notification appears, they check it. A craving appears, they follow it. A challenge appears, they avoid it. There is no pause, no control, no discipline. And without control, there is no direction. This is why weak minds are easy to control, not by others alone, but by everything around them. Social media controls their attention. Comfort controls their decisions. Fear controls their actions. They don't choose, they react. And reaction is the opposite of power. Another hidden trait of weak minds is inconsistency. They start strong. Motivation is high. Energy is there. But the moment things become boring, they stop. Because they rely on feeling, not discipline. Strong minds understand something different. They know progress is not exciting most of the time. It is repetitive. It is slow. It is uncomfortable. Weak minds can't handle that. They need constant stimulation, constant motivation, constant results. And when they don't get it, they quit. This creates a pattern of unfinished efforts, half-built habits, broken routines. And over time, this destroys confidence. Because every time you quit, you prove to yourself that you can't be trusted. So the mind becomes weaker. Another reason weak minds never change, they avoid responsibility. They blame circumstances, they blame people, they blame luck. But they never look inward, because taking responsibility is heavy. It forces you to confront reality, and reality is uncomfortable. But without responsibility, there is no control, and without control, there is no change. Weak minds also fear judgment. They don't take action because, what will people think? They don't try because they might fail publicly. They don't improve because they want to protect their image. So they stay stuck. But here's the truth. People forget. Judgment fades. But missed opportunities stay. Strong minds understand this. Weak minds don't. Another silent trap is overthinking. Weak minds analyze everything, but act on nothing. They wait for perfect timing, perfect conditions, perfect confidence. But perfection doesn't exist. And while they wait, life moves on. Opportunities pass. Time disappears. And nothing changes. Because thinking without action is just delay. At its core, weakness is not lack of strength. It is lack of control. Control over thoughts. Control over emotions. Control over actions. And without control, you become predictable. Easy to influence. Easy to distract. Easy to stop. That is why weak minds remain weak. Not because they are incapable, but because they never train control. They never build discipline in small moments. When they feel like quitting, they quit. When they feel like delaying, they delay. When they feel uncomfortable, they escape. But those small moments matter because they shape identity, and identity shapes behavior, and behavior shapes life. If you want to break this cycle, it doesn't start with motivation. It starts with awareness, seeing your patterns, recognizing your excuses, understanding your reactions. Then comes control. Pause before reacting. Act despite discomfort. Finish what you start. Small actions, repeated daily. That is how strength is built. Because strong minds are not born, they are trained. In silence, in discomfort, in discipline. And over time, that training changes everything. Because once you gain control over your mind, you stop being controlled by everything else. And that is where real power begins.